Hey everybody, it's the Salty Pug Lord. How y'all been doing? Well, I finally went and saw that POI, and I have some interesting things to tell you about it, and we'll go over there in just a second, but first I wanted to just give you a quick update on my current playthrough of Empyrion. Those of you who have been with the game longer may recognize some of this. You may already know what I made my base in this playthrough. But if this stuff in here doesn't look familiar to you, maybe if we go outside, memory will be jogged. My ceramics, of course, which I did use and has worked very well for me. I've been very happy with it. I just spawned my CV. You can see it is Excal's Rebar Mark III. That should be far enough. You should be able to see the base now. Well, minus the fog. Let's take away the markers. So, does that look familiar at all? Yeah, it's the LSB Locrum from Dubrovnik Dynamics, or I think they're called something else now. In any event, you can see I've upgraded it a little bit. I've added a bunch of solar panels, both on this side and on that side over there. And you probably see in the 3 flak turrets here as well. Flak turrets turn out to be amazing against drones because they do explosive damage, and the drones just can't handle it. Also, do you see that in addition to the explosive damage with a 3 radius, and a really good rate of fire actually, they also have a 297 meter range. That means they can start shooting rocket drones before the rocket drones can start shooting you. I think everybody who knows very much about Empyrion knows that flak turrets are amazing, but if you don't know that flak turrets are amazing right now, then there you go, there's a little knowledge for you. So let's get back our... So I mentioned that I had the rebar for my CV, at least my early and mid-game CV. One thing that I also did is I got Excal's K-Bar Escobar for my starter SV, and you're probably looking at this thing saying, Jesus, that's really ugly. And you are right. It is absolutely ugly as crap. It is a big pile of ugly, for sure. But I gotta tell you guys, this is my new favorite SV. This is such a practical and well put together SV. You know, it starts out inexpensive. It doesn't come with a shield. It doesn't come with the CPU extenders. And I moved some stuff. It comes with 2 constructors. I never needed 2 constructors, so I removed one of them and just threw it in the cargo container. See down here? I also moved the oxygen station and the armor locker and stuff, so like pretty much everything you need is over here. And I put in a food fridge and a med fridge. And of course, it didn't come with the shield because it was tier 2 to start, so I put in the shield. But I gotta tell you guys, this thing, as ugly as it really is a masterpiece of good engineering. So if you're the kind of person who needs to have aesthetically pleasing CVs in this game, then obviously get something else. But if you want a super functional CV that is easy to upgrade and works really, really well, you could do a lot worse than Excal's K-Bar Escobar. Really, really excellent, particularly for the price. I've already taken a couple of POIs that had laser turrets on them with this. You won't quite be able to take a shielded drone base with it, but shielded level 1 POIs, I was able to actually, after I put the shield on it, I was actually able to use this guy no problem to take low-level POIs, even ones that had turrets and a shield. So, yeah, highly recommended. Alright, well that's about all I wanted to show you for here. So let's flash forward over to the POI. You already know what it's named because you saw it on my LCD screen before. And I'll tell you an interesting little trick to help you with the end of that POI. This game is so oddly beautiful at times. It just amazes me. The sunsets in particular, they did something right with the sunsets. Anyway, let's sleep through the night and then I can talk about the gear you need for the POI. We'll also take a quick look at the outside of the POI itself. Okay. So first things, let's talk about the gear that I would recommend before you go into this POI. I would say that you very probably want to have heavy armor, not just medium armor, but heavy armor. And my recommended configuration for that heavy armor is 3 multi-boosts and a jetpack boost. So let's take my jetpack boost off. We'll leave the mobility on the light armor, put the light armor in the locker. You can see I've got my 3 multis in here, and then I usually either put in an armor boost or a jetpack boost, depending on whether I think I need defense or mobility more. In this POI, you really need mobility. Alright. Now, the other thing that you're going to want for this POI, well, the other things, in terms of weapons, I would not go in there without a Tier 2 pulse rifle and at least 1,500 rounds of ammo. You could take 2,000 if you wanted to. I happen to have an Epic EM pulse rifle. That's not necessary. It's nice. It has a large magazine, and there are lots and lots of horrors and alien scorpions in there, so something with a large magazine and a rapid fire rate. And as you'll see, I think headshots are really, really important. Another thing that's really useful is a Tier 2 sniper rifle, because if you do catch things unaware, this thing has such a high headshot multiplier. You can see the headshot multiplier, the damage multi-head, is 5. So you can do 5 times that 300 damage times 5 just by doing a headshot. And if things are standing still, it's actually not that hard to hit their head. You won't have a lot of opportunities to use this because things rarely stand still inside this POI, but when you do, this is a real ammo saver. You can do with 1 bullet what it would take 15 or 20 bullets from one of the other weapons. The last thing I'm going to say you really, really need, I happen to have an Epic plasma cannon that I actually acquired from inside this POI, believe it or not. But any plasma cannon will do, and in fact, even a T2 rocket launcher would probably be good enough. You just need something that you can shoot, and the projectile will travel and then do splash damage in an area of effect. So that's the gear I would definitely take with you. And there's also something else that we'll get to in just a minute. But for the moment, that is all that I would say in terms of gear. Heavy armor, jetpack, 3 multis. Make sure your armor is almost fully repaired. You can see there's a tiny bit of damage on that, but not much. You can see down here armor value 245. If that's below 200, you really, really need to repair your armor. Alright, let's jump in the SV, and we will go and take out a few pesky turrets. And you guys will finally get to see what the POI is. Although, you know already. Is my shield charging? Yes, it must be. Yep. You can see the power spiking in the lower right, 78.1%. Let's get that shield charging up. We don't need map markers right now. Approach slow so you can see the POI. So this is it. Oops. You can see it's the Legacy Abandoned Assembly Yard, and this POI has something of a reputation in the community for good reason, I think. For the moment, just notice the Banrock & Company sign. Notice that there's kind of a little tower, like a little aircraft landing tower and a landing pad over there. And these 2 weird chimney-looking things over here. And maybe some kind of a greenhouse-looking thing there, but for the moment, that's not really what we want to talk about. What we want to talk about is how to breach in here, and you can see that number 1 down there at the bottom, I've got my guns ready. So let's get first person here. Probably when you first breach this, you're going to come in through this door. And it may not be obvious at first because they're kind of hidden a little bit behind the struts here, but yes, there are some turrets here. So by all means, use your shield and use your SV's weaponry to lay some hurt on these guys without any danger to yourself. There'll be plenty of danger later on. You don't need to be taking damage already. Alright. So this is the easiest entry point right here, and did I hear spiders? Aha! Hi guys. Where's the last one? I know I saw 3. Wow. I can aim, I swear, really, I can. I don't blame you if you don't believe me. Okay, so let's go on in. So when I came in here, oh, hello, yeah. That's the first thing that you'll notice when you come in here is some nasties come at you right away. They don't even give you a second to breathe, and that'll be a theme throughout this POI. Ah, you lucky son of a bitch. Yeah. The first time I came in here, I was in my Ceramics HV, and I did not have the turret set to shoot at predators, so I fixed that rather rapidly, and then just sat here and sort of danced around my HV as the alien scorpions tried to kill me, and my turret on the ceramics just shot them up. Turned out to be a pretty good strategy for the early part of the POI. Alright. So that's how you would make entry, and notice that there's a med station over there, although if you're in the wrong faction, maybe you can't get it. There's two little, you see those little bright white squares, two little wardrobes, and there's even a loot container behind the fuel towers there, so keep that stuff in mind as you first breach in here. There's some good loot, only a few feet in the door, and you might have to face one or two alien scorpions, but they're not that big a deal when there's only one or two of them. But that's actually not the part of the POI that I want to talk about, and in fact, I don't want to spoil you on the early parts of this POI, because there's actually some interesting LCD screens in here with some interesting pieces of plot. So instead of spoiling you on the early points of the POI, I am going to fast forward us again to the point in the POI that I want to show you, and I'm not going to show you anything before that, because I don't want to spoil you. I will link a video by a guy named Mike Tannick, who's been playing a lot of Empyrion on his YouTube channel lately. That's a two-part video, and only the second part really contains a lot of spoilers. So if you want to see more of the POI that I'm going to show you here, but you don't want to be totally spoiled, then you can watch just part 1, which is what I'll put in the description. So, at some point in this POI, you're going to come to this point. Long, alien-covered hallway. And you are going to find a point of no return. A long, long jump down into what appears to be an incredibly alien-infested pit of horrible. And, of course, if you are any good at this game at all, you're going to hit F5 to pop out your drone. And you're going to come down here, and you'll see plenty of scorpions, plenty of abominations, all sorts of lovely stuff. Yep. Looks like a real carnival ride, all right. Who sold me the e-ticket? This isn't where the POI gets real. The POI actually got real back in a previous room where the spawners would never stop spawning, and there was a trapdoor in front of a console that dumped you down into another place where the spawners would never stop spawning. But this point is a point of no return. Once you jump down that hole, even with 3 jetpack boosts in your armor, you're not getting back up. And if you've explored down there with your drone, you probably know that there really isn't any cover or much in the way of high places down there. If you jump down there, it's a one-way trip, and it's probably a death sentence. You're probably going to get into a death loop. So, what do? Well, I have a little trick, and I'll share it with you now. I will caution you, this only works if you have spawn limits set to off in the game config when you start the game. Spawn limits prevent you from spawning vessels on anything but your own base. You can't even spawn vessels on the empty ground. You have to build a base and spawn things on that if you have spawn limits turned on. But if you don't have spawn limits turned on, which you shouldn't if you want to enjoy the game, this trick actually works pretty well. I'll tell you what you need. You need a small vessel starter block, Actually, let's not. Let's hook up with logistics here. And you need 15 or 20 steel blocks. Actually, you could probably use carbon composite. So, get your drone out. No, no, there's not, you lying sack of shit. Hate that message. So stupid. There is nothing up there above me that was in the way of my drone spawn. So here's what we're going to do. Just ignore all the monsters for the moment. Go down here. Get just a little bit beyond the threshold of where this becomes tubular. And then set down your small vessel starter as close to the center of the tunnel as you can judge it. It's hard to judge, you're not going to get it exactly right, but try and get pretty close to the center of the tunnel so it falls down as straight as it can. That's close enough. That'll do. Now, switch over to your blocks. Oh no, did I get the wrong blocks? Did I get HV blocks? Ah ha ha ha. I'm a moron. Look who took CV base blocks instead of HVSV blocks. I'll fix that, and I'll be right back. Okay, here are our 20 SVHB blocks. Again, we're building with our drone. We're selecting ramp A, and we're going to put 3 of these ramp A's here just like this, sloping downward away from us. Now, switch to full cubes, and build up 3 full cubes on each side. Okay? So you've got kind of a U-shaped thing with a tilted windowsill at the bottom. Go back to your ramp A blocks. This time, turn them upside down so they're tilted, again, out toward the front, but again, outward and downward. Run 3 across here. And at this point, we have a nice little window to shoot through, but it's actually too small for either the abominations or the alien scorpions to get through. At this point, the only way they can come in is through the sides or over the top. So, let's go back to cubes, and we'll seal up the sides. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, shouldn't we seal up the top so that the abominations can't come over the top? I have some good news for you. The remaining space that is remaining here above this thing, it's actually too short for those Slender Man abominations to come over the top. They can't do it, they're too tall. They get blocked at the knees. So you have a nice wall here that you can jetpack over, but the window is too small for the alien scorpions to crawl through. And the space above is too short for the abominations to go over. So now we only have one more problem, which is, how do we deal with these clowns down here? Once we clear them out, we have a perfectly safe space right here to jump down in and shoot these dumb fools to our heart's content. Now, you may remember earlier on I said, you need to make sure you have a plasma cannon? Guess why? Yeah, this part. I want to caution you about something. It's real tempting to use your jetpack to kind of jump out, fire, and jump back, but watch out for the ceiling. It's really easy to trap yourself up in here and fall all the way down and land in a heap of trouble. I would actually recommend you don't try and jetpack around this. Instead, you very carefully maneuver until you can just shoot down and let the splash damage do your dirty work for you. I don't think that got them all. Let's use our drone to check it out. Oh, it only got one of them. So we still have at least 3 scorpions and an abomination. Alright. Well, that's fine. We got lots of ammo. We will just do it again. Careful, careful. Don't hit this lip. If you hit this lip, all the splash damage of your rocket launcher or your plasma cannon will come back on you. Don't do it. Make sure you've safely aimed for something down there. Sounds like we got another scorpion. Check it out. Okay. 2 down. Looks like 2 more to go, and the Abomination, he's getting pretty low on health. I think he's going to die next time. And that long drawn-out scream was the Abomination dying, so I think at most we have 1 more Scorpion to go. Yep. And you know what? I can take 1 more Scorpion with my Tier 2 shotgun, no problem. So let's stop wasting epic plasma cannon ammo, and we'll just go down there. And I have a bunch of meds, so if he does sting me or give me some kind of nasty thing, I've got more than enough medication here to heal myself, to get rid of whatever nasty parasite he tries to give me. You can see... Oh. Yeah, a word of caution. You see that up there? That's a spawner. That will spawn scorpions down on your head. This is one of many reasons why you need the heavy armor. I've got really good armor on. I'm already down to 307. So be aware of that. Alright. Now, you can see I said before, these horrors can't get over top of that because they're too tall. And look, here we are. They can't get over top. They're too tall. So, you remember I said earlier that if you can get something headshotted with the sniper rifle, it goes down pretty quick? Shall we? So there's a few stubborn hangers on here. Like they'll come right to us, so we can just wait for them. Yeah, you may want to stand back a little bit. They do have a absolutely fucking ridiculous reach. We'll just use a decon kit to get rid of that. Oh, the decon... Anti-parasite... Oh. My bad. Ah. So yeah, stand back. These guys have a ridiculous reach. It's completely insane. Elion, you really need to do something about that. The game can spawn as many of these clowns as it wants to. Doesn't matter. It's not going to help. They can't get over the top. And you have a nice window to just keep shooting them in the face. We still have some scorpions, so let's get out our sniper rifle again. See if we can shoot some dumbasses in the face. Oh. Nope. Nice little ledge to stand on here. Put it right between his eyes. Now, notice, all these horrors, all these guys who would have torn us to pieces, and even with this barrier in the way, I still took a huge amount of damage. and had to blow a bunch of medication. But here's the good news. No matter how many nasties this POI spawns on you, it won't matter. Because if nasties spawn right here, or there, guess what? You run back to your wall, you jump right over it, and now they can't touch you. And you can shoot them and they can't do shit about it. And in this fashion, you can explore the rest of this POI, and you can find what I consider to be some very interesting plot points. I'll show you just one of them. I don't want to ruin the other one for you. No, there's not another object in the spawn area. Stop fucking lying. Down here, in the big room. Oh, spookies. I love those. Those are so cool. In my opinion, this is the best monster Elyon ever made. I just love everything about them. They're fucking spooky as hell. They sound crazy. Ugh. So this room here, with this weird kind of warhead missile-looking thing, and this little semicircle of weird electronics-looking stuff, explore this part carefully. You might find something interesting here. That's not actually the most interesting part of this POI. The most interesting part is the end, which I don't want to spoil for you. I will tell you one thing about the very end of this POI, though. Oh, hello. How are you spooky, spooky pieces of crap doing? Yes. Yes, it's very nice to see you too. Yes. The very last room in this POI is a very strange one indeed. And you are going to meet some enemies that have incredibly powerful weapons. Much more powerful than you've ever seen before from any legacy enemy. Here's the thing. There's a couple switches in there that say Core Override, ? If you flip both those switches, then eventually the core of the POI will blow itself up. And at that point, you are free to pick blocks out and make yourself a stairway up and out of the POI without going back the way you came. So those very powerful enemies, you don't have to fight them. You don't have to at all. God, you are freaky. Holy shit. You can just wait for the core to blow, and then use your multi-tool to pick blocks and make a stairway up and out of the POI, and not face all those powerful enemies face to face. Alright? I hope you enjoy this POI. It is a very difficult POI. It does require the right equipment, but it's also, in my opinion, a very interesting POI. There is a pretty good headshot multiplier on this Tier 2 pulse rifle. It's 3.5. And you can down a lot of people, a lot of different monsters in this POI quite easily just by walking backwards and shooting them in the face. The only time that strategy won't work is when there's more than 4 of them. And at that point you'll have to down several and then run back behind some kind of cover. But hey, now you know how to make cover. Oh, by the way, you're probably saying, hey Salty, why don't you give us a blueprint for this thing? I'll tell you why. It wouldn't do you any good. The bounding box around this thing is actually too big to fit in this tunnel. So if you try and spawn a blueprint, guess what? You can't spawn it in here. No, there's not another fucking thing in the spawn area, you So, you see here? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you try to put this in here or how you turn it. It won't change a thing. The bounding box of the full blueprint is too big to be spawned in this small round tunnel. You have to build it in situ, as I showed you. Okay? I hope you enjoy this POI. I hope you're enjoying Empyrion. And I hope that you are staying salty, my friend. Jeez, you are creepy. God damn, you are a creepy motherfucker. Oof. Yikes. Smile for the camera, bitch.